Have you ever wondered where it all began? The story of India, one of the oldest civilizations in the world, is a fascinating tale waiting to be told. Let's take a step back in time, over 5,000 years ago, to the banks of the Indus River. Here we find the cradle of the Indus Valley civilization, a society so advanced that it boasted urban planning and architecture that would leave many in awe even today. Their cities were meticulously planned with well-defined residential and commercial areas, drainage systems, and even public baths. Yet much of this civilization remains shrouded in mystery, particularly their unique script that, to this day, remains undeciphered. As the Indus Valley civilization faded into the annals of history, the Vedic period dawned. This was a time of profound spiritual and philosophical exploration, birthing Hinduism, one of the world's oldest religions. The four Vedas, the holy scriptures of Hinduism, were composed during this period, laying the foundation for the religion's complex theology and mythology. Alongside the spiritual awakening, the Vedic period also saw the emergence of the caste system, a social hierarchy that continues to influence Indian society. The end of the Vedic period gave rise to the Mauryan Empire, an extensive and powerful kingdom under the rule of Chandragupta Maurya. However, it was his grandson, Ashoka the Great, who would leave an indelible mark on Indian history. A fierce warrior turned benevolent ruler, Ashoka embraced Buddhism after witnessing the horrors of war. He then embarked on a mission to spread the teachings of peace and compassion, not just throughout his empire, but far beyond its borders. As the Mauryan Empire declined, a new chapter in Indian history was about to unfold. The dawn of civilization had set the stage for the classical age, a time of great cultural and scientific advancements, but that's a story for another time. The Gupta period, often described as the Golden Age of India, was a time of great achievements in science, technology, engineering, art, dialectic, literature, logic, mathematics, astronomy, religion, and philosophy. This was an era that saw the flourishing of the Indian cultural ethos, and a time when the Indian subcontinent reached new heights in all fields of human endeavor. The Gupta Empire, spanning from the mid-3rd century to the late 6th century, was the cradle of this golden age. It was a time when the Indian subcontinent was a hub of learning and knowledge. The empire, founded by Maharaja Srigupta, was known for its peace, stability, and prosperity, fostering an environment conducive to intellectual and artistic pursuits. The advancements in science and mathematics during this period are nothing short of extraordinary. Aryabhata, one of the greatest mathematicians and astronomers of the classical age, was a product of this period. His works in algebra, geometry, and astronomy laid the foundations for much of modern mathematics and science. It's also during this period that the concept of zero and the decimal system were developed, changing the course of mathematics forever. But it wasn't just science and mathematics that flourished. The Gupta period was also a golden age for Indian art and literature. Classical Indian art, known for its intricate detailing and symbolism, came into its own during this time. Literature, too, saw a revival with the works of Kalidasa, often hailed as the Shakespeare of Sanskrit literature. However, like all great empires, the Gupta Empire, too, had its sunset. The invasion of the Huns in the late 5th and early 6th centuries led to the decline of the Gupta Empire. The Huns, fierce nomadic warriors, overran the Gupta territories, leading to political instability and the eventual downfall of the empire. With the fall of the Gupta Empire, India entered into a period of political fragmentation. But the legacy of the Golden Age lived on in the advancements in science, mathematics, and the arts, continuing to influence Indian culture and civilization for centuries to follow. The medieval period in India marked a significant shift in power dynamics and cultural influence. This era was a vibrant tapestry of power struggles, invasions, and cultural mingling. At the heart of all this was the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate in the 12th century, marking the advent of Islam in India. The Delhi Sultanate was a Muslim kingdom based mostly in Delhi that stretched over large parts of the Indian subcontinent for nearly 300 years. This period saw the introduction of new administrative systems, architectural styles, and cultural practices, which influenced the fabric of Indian society deeply. The Delhi Sultanate was eventually succeeded by the Mughal Empire, a period that many consider the zenith of artistic, cultural, and administrative sophistication in medieval India. The Mughals were a power to reckon with, and their influence was far-reaching. The first Mughal emperor, Babur, established the empire's footing in India. However, it was Akbar, the third emperor, who is often hailed as the greatest of all Mughal rulers. Akbar's reign was a period of unprecedented cultural fusion and administrative reforms. Akbar's grandson, Shah Jahan, is another Mughal ruler whose legacy continues to be celebrated worldwide. Shah Jahan's reign is particularly noted for its architectural marvels, the most renowned of which is the Taj Mahal, a monument of love that leaves visitors spellbound with its ethereal beauty, intricate carvings, and precious gemstone inlays. The Mughal Empire at its peak was a testament to the power, grandeur, and cultural richness of medieval India. Yet, like all great empires, it too began to crumble, weakened by internal strife and external pressures. However, as the Mughal Empire began to crumble, foreign traders started to gain a foothold in India. This marked the transition from the medieval period to the colonial era, a time of dramatic change that would ultimately shape the India we know today. The 18th and 19th centuries saw the transformation of India under the banner of the British East India Company and later, the British Crown. As the winds of change blew over the Indian subcontinent, the British East India Company, initially a commercial entity, began to establish its rule. Their arrival wasn't just about trade anymore, it was about power. The company's regime, known as company rule, took firm root in the 18th century. The British cleverly used a policy of divide and rule, sowing seeds of discord among the various Indian princely states, gradually annexing territories and establishing their dominance. The impact of British rule was profound and far-reaching, affecting every stratum of Indian society and economy. The traditional Indian economy was dismantled, and a new colonial economy was created. This revolved around the interests of the British, with India becoming a supplier of raw materials and a consumer of British manufactured goods. The consequences were devastating, leading to a series of famines and economic distress. But it wasn't all one-sided. Amidst this transformation, the first sparks of resistance began to glimmer. The year 1857 marked a turning point. Known as the First War of Independence, or the Sepoy Mutiny, it was a large-scale rebellion against the British authority. It was a fight not just for territory, but for the soul of India. Although the rebellion was quelled, it shook the foundations of the British Empire in India. The aftermath of the 1857 rebellion saw a significant shift. The power was transferred from the East India Company to the British Crown, marking the beginning of the British Raj. The Queen's proclamation promised to respect the rights of the Indian princes, marking a new era in the colonial history of India. Yet the echoes of the 1857 uprising reverberated through the subcontinent. It was clear, the fight for freedom, for the soul of India, was far from over. It had just begun. The spirit of resistance, once kindled, would continue to burn, leading the way to India's long and arduous journey to independence. The fight for freedom, however, had just begun. The 20th century brought about a wave of nationalism that would eventually lead to India's independence. This era saw the rise of the Indian national movement, a collective effort that united the nation under a common cause. Key figures emerged during this time, including the likes of Mahatma Gandhi, whose doctrine of nonviolence and civil disobedience resonated with millions. Gandhi's philosophy was not only instrumental in the struggle for independence, but also in shaping the ethos of the nation. The Quit India movement of 1942 under his leadership was a decisive moment in the fight against colonial rule, and it set the stage for India's eventual freedom in 1947. But the journey didn't stop there. After independence, India took on the monumental task of nation-building. It was in this context that the Constitution of India was drafted, a document that would serve as the cornerstone of the world's largest democracy. Led by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the drafting committee worked tirelessly to create a constitution that would uphold the values of justice, liberty, and equality for all its citizens. In the years following independence, India made significant strides in various fields. The Green Revolution transformed the agricultural landscape, turning India from a food deficit country to a food surplus one. In the realm of science and technology, the establishment of institutions like the Indian Space Research Organization symbolized India's ambitions. The successful launch of satellites and missions to the Moon and Mars are testament to these ambitions being realized. In the realm of social justice, India has made significant strides, with movements aimed at empowering marginalized communities and promoting gender equality. The country's vibrant democracy continues to evolve, reflecting the diverse voices and aspirations of its people. The story of India, from an ancient civilization to a modern democratic republic, is a testament to its resilience and diversity. It's a story of triumph against odds, of a nation that has continually reinvented itself while staying true to its roots. And as we look to the future, this story continues to unfold, each chapter adding to the rich tapestry that is India.